Hello there, today we're going to be looking at the top 5 hardest jump spots in Alcatraz. Now this list is not even a top 5 list, it's actually a top 7, because no one would watch a top 7, so I named it top 5. But if you have any other suggestions of any other jump spots that you think were actually more difficult than these, I would love to see them in the comment section. Anyway, enjoy the top 5, farewell. Okay, so at the number 7 spot, we have this jump right here in the basement on the window here. Now my dumbass is doing this as a strafe jump. You actually don't even need to do it as a strafe jump. This would have been higher up on the list because my dumbass actually thought this was harder than it actually was. It turns out you could literally just run into this and jump through. Now the reason this is so important is because usually you're supposed to mantle this shit. It is possible to actually get out of here without mantling. It's much easier on the other side, but on this side it is much more difficult. The reason it's difficult isn't even because the jump is difficult. As I said, you don't even need to strafe jump this shit, even though I thought you needed to strafe jump it. What the difficulty is actually just not mantling. So it's more of about, is this gonna be smooth or not, rather than, oh, this is actually very difficult to do. Anyway, on to the next one. Okay, so at the number 6 spot, we got this shitty jump in Alley Pot on the 3rd floor. Now this shit is sort of difficult in a sense that you have to have a nice angle and a perfect sort of jump to make this shit. But in reality, this shit is not even that difficult. Like if you know how to do this and you're not brain damaged, like you'll make it fine. Like this is nothing special. So that's why it's at number 6. There was no reason this should have been anywhere up. It was actually supposed to be last place, but then the one before took it. So yeah, on to the next one. Now from this point on, this is where the actual list gets interesting. These 5 that I'm going to show next were probably the only ones that were actually like viable for this list. But here we have one from Model Industries, which is basically a jump from the staircase to the 2nd floor window. The reason this is so difficult is because number 1, you have to jump off of this shitty railing, and when you try and jump off of this shit, your jump will get cancelled because it's slanted. So that's a big RIP. You try and jump on this shit and the game will just rape you, like nothing will happen, you will just cancel your jump. Number 2, you can also manage to get your ass on that like top pipe accidentally, so instead of actually making it into the window like you should be, you'll just get raped and go to the pipe. And also what can occur is the mantling here is retarded, like it doesn't actually work, so you also get raped here. So overall this shit is quite difficult, but it's still possible if you know what the hell you're doing. So yeah, very nice. On to the next one. Okay, so on the number 4 spot, we actually probably have the most useful one out of all the jumps I'm going to show you. So if you gotta learn anything, learn this one please. But here we have the 2nd floor of New Industries, and we go on top of this little ledge here, and then you jump all the way to the roof. So I don't think anyone knows about this other than me, because I'm just special. Oh yeah, I'm sexy. But the reason this is so difficult, well, number 1 is you can bounce your big ass head on the top of those glasses on there, on the skylights, which will rape you. Also, the floor that you're on isn't one layer. That layer is like a triangle, bro. So like the middle of it is like higher than the rest of it, so it means you go up and down, so it's very difficult to get a straight jump, which is a big RIP. And also, you need to actually use your brain and look towards the mantling, because you're jumping and then having to curve to climb the other shit. But the main important part here is that it's very difficult to even get this jump to work because of bouncing. Everything else is sort of like an extra nuisance. But yeah, that's basically it. This one's actually quite useful, so I respect this one. On to the next one. Okay, so on the number 3 spot, we actually have something really familiar. This is literally the exact same thing as on number 5, but it's the other way around. This is actually slightly more difficult though, because of a few reasons. Number 1, you get bounced on the ceiling of this shit, like, heavily. So this window here, you literally have no space to make this jump. So you have to do a strafe jump on this small ass ledge, and most likely get raped by the ceiling anyway. Then on top of that, you can get cucked by the game where the mantle doesn't work. or your angle gets raped and you literally go out to Mars instead of the actual staircase. So overall, like, this jump, you have to basically have it perfect in every variable. It's even difficult to even like literally get onto this shitty ledge here, as like you're seeing right now. But like, it's still possible, it's still doable. If I would recommend how to do it, just make sure you're fully back on the ledge and give yourself enough space to go on that shit. But anyway, on to the next one. Okay, so at the number 2 spot, we actually have another one in Model Industries, like literally in the exact same place. And this is a window towards this big ass pipe dildo on the side of Model Industries. Now the reason this is a problem is that this big ass pipe dildo, it literally has like 1 centimeter of place where you can go to. And also the window you're trying to jump from, like, you're going to bounce your head on the ceiling like we had in the previous one. So getting on top of this pipe dildo is very difficult. However, this pipe dildo is quite useful because it allows you to get on top of that shitty model roof where all those faggots stand there and camp there the whole game with vendettas. So this actually allows another access point to that shit, which most people don't even know about. Although this shit is it's really difficult. Number 1, because the pipe dildo is literally 1 centimeter of space, and number 2, because you will get raped by the ceiling. Anyway, on to the number 1 spot. Okay, so at the number 1 spot, we have a crazy ass jump right here. Honestly, in my opinion, this might be one of the most difficult jumps in the whole of BO4, and there is simply one reason because of this. The amount of ceiling rape you will receive when trying to perform this jump is it's insane. The ceiling right here, it will rape you every time you try and do this shitty jump, because you literally have to have the exact perfect timing to not get raped by this ceiling. So if you're ever performing this jump in Model Industries, just simply don't do this and do the one that was on like the number 1, like the number 1 for this 4th spot. So yeah, that was bad.